Laurie again. I'm just going to do a quick video, I hope quick anyway, about my character and how he's built and why he's built that way. You know, just covering all the general topics of why I'm built this way and what benefits it gives by doing it. As you probably noticed, I'm playing necromancer. I started as a mesmer, and the name I usually use for characters is on that mesmer, so that's why this guy's called something else. But when I started the game, I just found that the mesmer didn't click with me. It had too many, the skills didn't synergize within themselves. There was a few different ways to get cooldown on illusions, but they didn't stack. And one of those skills says it gives you cooldowns on illusions, but it doesn't. It gives your illusions quicker attacks. But it just said illusion recharge rate, which I and most of the community took to mean, you know, the recharge of the spell. But then I tried the necromancer, and I just found that I loved the way it was so tough. And by using your health and your death shroud, you ended up with effectively 2 health bars. And although my damage wasn't as high, I kind of compensated for that by just being incredibly tanky. So I do less damage, but I have twice or 3 times as long to do the damage to the enemy. Oh, don't aggro him. There we are. So, weapons is scepter dagger and secondary staff. The reason for this is because I'm building condition, and scepter gives me the biggest and easiest way to apply conditions. Just straight and simple. There are other ways to get conditions as a necromancer. Vulnerability on the axe, really easy. Staff does quite a bit of a nice amount of bleed, and also does chilled quite well. But for consistent condition application, your staff you can't beat. Offhand dagger is because the horn is okay in World v World, but isn't amazing. It's just adequate, simply for the swiftness. So that's not really worth going for. The focus is pretty much solely PvP. No, PvE, sorry. Unless you're going for a chill build. I've seen a very strong chill build on the internet, but I wouldn't do it myself. Simply because it was good, but it lost quite a bit of damage. It remained a similar tankiness to my build, but you lost a lot of damage out of it, to make up for the fact that you had to chill. And the tankiness wasn't as solid as well. This build is just built to be tanky, and have heavy condition damage. So I will stay alive for a long time while conditioning. Whereas the other build, it kind of wanted to be alive and conditioning, but it didn't have as much focus, I found, to make it such as strong at doing that. Oop. Okay, I'll take that. So yes, and then the offhand staff is for in World v World. It gives you the snipey range that you lack on all the other weapons, and the marks allow for incredible short-term burst. If you switch to your staff, mark the enemy repeatedly, and then when you can swap back to your scepter, you'll be able to burst an enemy down or 2. And it also gives you the AoE, which, once again, for World v World, you don't know where the enemy is. Just chuck some evenly spaced marks out, and you'll get a few extra, like, badges of honor and stuff from the kills. You know, so it works with the whole condition application because you've got the bleeds and, as I say, chilled from the staff. But yes, so I'll explain a bit more in detail. Okay, I am looking to get the orange chest and orange feet for my build, but I don't yet have them. The rest of the build is orange, even though it looks like the Whisper set. I just prefer the way the Whisper set looks to the set that I actually have. So I bought that set to skin it. And as you can probably see from my stats, what I'm aiming to do is precision, toughness, and condition damage. The reason for this is because a necromancer, power builds only work on the axe, and the axe is short range, so it's not worth going power. Crit damage, on a thief, powerful, potentially on an elementalist if done right, and a warrior maybe, but on a necromancer, crit damage isn't that strong because most of your attacks are applying bleeds as a secondary effect and things like that, so therefore their initial damage is a lot lower. So crit damage scales worse on them. Healing power, not the best on a necromancer because other classes' healing spells, not only their healing spells, but their weapons healing spells, like a guardian, scale with healing power. Whereas almost all of the healing, except for your healing spell and your dagger main hand's life siphon, don't use the healing power. Those two things are the only things that do use healing power. So it makes healing power a lot weaker on a necromancer. And regen as well is one of their main sources of healing for allies and enemies. For allies and themselves. So, you know, the regen doesn't benefit from healing power. It benefits from boon duration. So there's no point in going for that. And vitality. A little trick with the necromancer is you keep your health pool low, but the health constant. The health coming in constant. Some classes, like a warrior, want a bigger health pool so that they can take more damage before they kill the enemy. Before they get killed, sorry. With a necromancer, especially with my build, I have a constant trickle of life coming in all the time. So what I want to do is mitigate as much of that damage as I can coming in from the enemy so that my constant stream is stronger. And as I say, healing power isn't as strong in a necromancer, so I can't compensate by using massive health and massive healing. So by just using toughness and putting traits in the right area, I keep myself very tanky. The precision is just because there are so many good on-hit critical effects for the necromancer, especially for the condition damage necromancer, that it's worth going precision, and it also makes up for your lack of power to keep your damage fairly high. So as you can see, all precision toughness, all precision toughness, all precision toughness, and condition, sorry. Runes, I've gone for Rune of Undead. Total of plus 183 condition damage. That is quite a nice boost. That's worth about 3 or 4 items. So that's very strong. Plus 50 toughness. That's about the amount you get from a chest or legs. About there. About the same from legs. So that is another nice chunky bonus. And the added bonus at number 6, 5% toughness becomes condition damage. So by stacking toughness, not only am I getting tougher, but I'm getting more damage. So it all works out to make me tanky and damage. Weapons runes. My staff, I don't use that often. I only use it when I'm in a supporty role. Or what's it called? Worthy World. So the rune I've got on that is the Frailty rune. That is a 30% chance on crit to cause vulnerability. I have not far off 50% crit. It's higher in the high level zones. So I'm critting every other attack, and the basic attack of this goes through enemies as well. So on about 1/6 of my attacks, I am applying vulnerability. So it works with the supporty role of the fact that my staff isn't my main damage source, but you know, I'm using it when I'm in the back ranks, just chucking out some damage and chucking out some runes under the tank to keep regen on him and things. It keeps the vulnerability on the enemy, so I'm still putting out damage, sort of, by applying the vulnerability that others take effect of. You'll notice my weapons are both all yellow because orange weapons cost a lot of money, and I'm not that rich. Scepter of Earth, the Earth rune, plus 60% chance on crit to inflict bleeding. Really strong. It's got a 5-second cooldown, which is annoying, but it means that on about 1/3 of my attacks I inflict bleeding because of that. Not only my bleeding here, but the bleedings from this. It means on my own, doing consistent damage, I sit around 12 stacks of bleed on the enemy. Can maintain about 12, which is quite strong, especially because all my bleed stacks I mean, I'm in a level 28 zone and my bleed stacks are doing about 40 damage, I think. So with 12 of those, that's a nice big trickle of damage coming out. Can you see a health of an enemy? The offhand dagger has plus 10 condition damage for each kill. That is because my dagger, I don't quite know, but I believe my dagger's attacks are only considered to be these two, and therefore getting an on-attack effect wouldn't be worth it. So I've gone for the plus 10 condition damage each time you kill a foe, so just by having my dagger sat there, even if I don't use these skills ever, I'll end up with an extra 250 condition damage. Which is incredibly big. And all goes towards my damage output. Aquatic weapons and stuff, I don't really go underwater that much. I don't enjoy going underwater. I don't enjoy the underwater combat. So my stuff is all greens. I've got a yellow spear. And it's all just, I've just got on it what's on it. I don't really care that much. I won't be using it too often. All precision, condition, and toughness if possible. The odd bit of power and stuff around. But I'm a jewel crafter that's about 370, so when I get to 400 I'll start making stuff more towards what I want, hopefully. The ancient carcass shell and all that kind of stuff on me. So my items are all about making me as tanky as possible, as critting as often as possible, and lots of condition damage. Skills. Heal, I'm using consume condition, because I love getting rid of conditions on me. Conditions are something I hate. I like being able to do what I do, and being able to do it better, and I hate it when someone restricts the power of my hero. So consume conditions, it's a similar heal in amount to Prayer of Dwayne. You require one condition brings it about even, two conditions takes it a little bit over. Plus it has a shorter cooldown, and it can be used underwater. So consume conditions just gets rid of those annoying conditions. The Blood Fiend only good in a condition build. So when you're low levels and you're buying skills, the heal skill is one of the first ones you want to buy, because the Blood Fiend, it only works in minion builds. It's quite weak, really. And Well of Blood is the strongest heal and can be used in pretty much any build, but longest cooldown and doesn't remove conditions. If you're going a Wells build though, that is an amazing ability, and it even provides damage in some cases depending on how you build. In the minute I've got Signet of the Locust, steals health from nearby foes. That goes in tune with the whole staying alive for as long as possible, and run 25% quicker. Mostly because I'm doing world completion at the minute. In World v World and combats, I run... Where's it gone? Spectral Walk. Because the swiftness is nice to have on tap, just go quicker. And the Spectral Walk effect, jumping puzzles, it saves you in jumping puzzles. And the break stun means that you can use it like when trying to win in and out of keeps and things like that, or fleeing from the enemies. Will of Power. More condition removal. I won't take it off my hotbar because of how often it saved me. Fighting enemies that are just constantly applying conditions to me immediately turns it into a good thing and just keeps me ticking. Very strong, and also used by allies. When I was in the Grawl Fractal, where they just keep chucking burning out on the last boss, that saved me and my team quite a lot during the fight. Epidemic, because people consider it broken. Also, the vulnerability works both ways. So I get the vulnerability, and I then either chuck it to the enemy through Death Swarm, consume it for more health through Consume Condition, or Well of Power it into power. Is it power? No, protection, sorry. To make me tougher. So I'm using the vulnerability myself, plus Epidemic, short cooldown, and when you're killing a group of foes, you go AoE while auto-attacking. Death Swarm as well if you want. Then the person you're auto-attacking has loads of bleed and poison on them, and everyone has the cripple bleed and the weakness bleed, and then you Epidemic, and the bleed poison goes to everyone else. So everyone else is dying ridiculously quickly, and the basic auto-attack damage of this is carrying that person that you're hitting, is killing them as well. And most people consider it broke, so it is quite a nice, strong ability. Plague is my ult, doubles my health bar pretty much, and constantly applies conditions. I want condition damage, so that's good. Pardon me. And the doubling health is and once again another way to stay alive longer. It doesn't keep your health high. So if you activate it at half health and then deactivate it immediately, you don't go back to full health. You stay at the same margin, but it keeps you alive longer. And with the blind effect in that as well, if you're tanking a group of enemies, like in the Astralonian Catacombs dungeon, where you're tanking all the, what are they called? The little black monster giblet-y things that all come out of the burrows. If you're tanking them to stop the guy dying, if you just sit right next to the burrow casting blind constantly, they won't do any damage to you, and your guys can clean up. So lots of condition removal, because I don't like it and I've got the self-vulnerability, lots of condition application, and damage spreading. And all tanky stuff as well. Like the weakness makes it harder for people to kill me. Triple means they can't get to me. Death Swarm blinds them so their auto attack miss me. Traits, nothing in spite, I don't want power, and condition duration. Getting enough condition duration through other means to get my bleeds to just over a round number. So if I started getting more condition duration, it would potentially take it to like 5.5 seconds, so the 6th tick of bleed wouldn't happen, and there'd be half a second after the 5th tick when nothing's happening. So I'm not bothering with Spike Tree. With axes, Spike Tree very good. You know, your last trait, putting your axes to do quicker cooldowns and stuff, and the power itself for the spike for the axes very strong. But I don't like axes myself. Curses, precision, brilliant. Want it in my build. Condition damage, brilliant. Want it in my build. Crit, 66% chance to cause bleeding. I believe that works with the other percent chance to cause bleeding, so that I can, on one auto attack from my scepter, apply 3 bleeds. And with my crit chance, it happens quite a lot. Increased bleed duration, that is to get my bleeds near that whole second. That alone doesn't do it, but I have another way to keep my bleeds up, to extend bleed duration, sorry. Gain Fury for 5 seconds when into a Death Shroud, that is an increased crit chance. I like crits, I use Death Shroud, so yeah, I didn't select that obviously, but I'm not going to pew-pew it. You have a 33% chance to gain 1% life force on critical hits. This is small, and you'll probably not notice it, but it's another on critical effect, so it's good. 33% chance with about 50% chance means that I'm getting 1/6 of my auto attacks, and I need the Death Shroud to survive, so I'm keeping that. You know, it's good to have. There might be powerfuler things in there. Spectral skills, no. Will skills used ground targeting, no. Warhunt skills, no. Corruption skills, no. So it's quite a small thing. The fear damage is tiny. Don't take the fear damage thing. I tried a fear build where you fear when you're downed, you fear on weapon attacks, you fear when they hit you, you use your Death Shroud fear, you use the staff fear, but it really doesn't do much. And the basic idea, just a 0.1 of a second of fear is enough to disrupt someone and stop and cancel an ability, and that's all I really use the fear for. I don't try and chain fear to make people run away, especially mobs, because they end up aggroing more mobs. 2% increased damage for each condition on a foe. Brilliant when you're against a boss with 10 conditions on it. 20% increased damage is amazing. But me myself will always have 2 conditions on the enemy, and maybe more. So I even use it when soloing, but in dungeons very strong. Conditions inflicted by Scepter last 33% longer. That tandems with the bleeds last longer, to mean that bleeds are up for just over 6 seconds. The 33% increase doesn't quite make the poison go to around second though. So I might look into at some point getting increased duration up to 50% for poison as well. Just for that 1 extra tick of poison damage, because that would take poison damage from 136 sorry, to 200 and something. Just under 210, maybe 26. Death magic, it's okay. I considered it. Toughness is good. The boon duration, nice. If you go for that as well, then combined with the necromancer runes I've got, would be 10% of toughness converted to power. Well, no, sorry, 5% to condition and 5% to power. So, not bad. Best to go for a minion build with staff if you're doing this. You can go for a non-minion build, but focus on the staff traits, and then do Lich form, and pop into Lich form and activate your big rune that makes loads of little horrors, and then you'll get huge toughness bump and loads of horrors, and when you kill things, horrors will spawn and more toughness, and that works for kind of temporary tanking. But I'm not keen. The Lich form looks cool, but I love Plague. Plague's so much stronger in my opinion, especially for condition build. Blood magic, controversial, because I've got the vitality which I don't want and the healing which I don't want. But the regen has saved my life numerous times. You get the regen, a thief tries bursting you, doesn't quite make it, you start regenning back up, you turn into Death Shroud as soon as the regen ends, use that, pop your health when you come back out of Death Shroud, and because of the regen that got you up about another 83 health bar, you can keep fighting. It's a nice little thing to have, and at 90% with 5 seconds, if you're constantly attacking mobs with very little downtime for your health to regen, naturally, it keeps you fighting. Siphoning health is 50% more effective. Kind of inconsequential, because I don't use a dagger main hand, except for the fact that I have vampiric, so siphon health whenever I hit a foe. This is the constant trickle I was on about. I think at this zone it's 12 health per hit, and 50% increased effect means that it would have been 8, which is quite small. But it's good. I think I could have got a critical siphon. Siphon health whenever you critically hit. That's tempting as well, and I may look into that. Because actually yes, with my current crit chance, that would do more. So I'm going to swap to that and see how that sustains me for a while. Don't want to go any deeper because I'm not doing wells or anything like that, and I'm not becoming a healer. Soul Weeping. Critical damage, I don't really want it, but I critical, so I'll take it. Increased life force pool by 25%. That is once again nice for just keeping me alive. Longer Death Shrouds, and it means if I want to leave Death Shroud early, I've got more left over to go back into. Life force drains 25% slower. That kind of is nice, because I'm using Death Shroud to tank, so the fact that it lasts longer means that I can tank for longer. Increased life force gain from skill shots, League of Legends. Increased life force gain from skills. That's not that strong, but you have to have it. Last gasp, spectral armor at 50% health. That's very strong. Long cooldown on it, so you need to know if it's up or not. But if you go down to about 4/6 life bar, pop your health, wait until it gets a bit lower, then Death Shroud back when you're at 4/6 again. In fact, sorry, signet a locust before that to get some more health again. Then when you go back down to 4/6 again, that's when you Death Shroud. Use your Death Shroud siphon and fear them away and things. Come out of Death Shroud, your heal will probably be back up. Heal again. Then your health will drop below, and you'll get spectral armor. So then your life force will pop back up again quite quickly, and you'll get protection to survive longer. When your life force is full or full enough, Death Shroud again, siphon the life again. When you come back out, your health pop will probably be up again. And using that and the passive regen from Blood Tree, you can do really long fights. And with the amount of conditions you apply, a long fight is very good for you. Life Blast pierces cause vulnerability. In Death Shroud, I have very little power, so I'm not hitting hard with my main attack. So I make up for that by causing vulnerability and piercing. So although I don't do much damage, I'm doing damage to everyone that it goes through, and I'm causing vulnerability so others can take advantage of the fact that I'm in Death Shroud. 5% more damage if you more than 50% life force. When I'm soloing, don't use Death Shroud much, so this means that I can solo quicker because I have constantly higher damage. And it's better than anything else I could have taken. Really? and that's kind of why I took it. And also the increased life force pool increases by putting more points into that tree. Parasitic bond, that is something I might look into. Taking the points out and putting them into parasitic bond, because when I'm doing massive AoE fights, constantly killing will constantly give me more life, and with low vitality, high toughness, that'll keep me sustained for a long time. But yeah, so this is my guy.